Hello, and welcome to a very inventive episode of the Drywall Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Harmon. With us today, a man that needs no introduction, the inventor of the yellow jacket, Mike Rauchut. The yellow jacket was a very unassuming invention for Mike to market because he's had other ideas and he's been in and around the construction industry for many years.
Beverage holder for a microphone stand. You know how it coils up?
Yeah.
The coil beverage holders. A buddy of mine owns a rivet shop, and I got some stainless steel coil wire, like I don't know, heavy 1/8 inch thick. And I'd bent it around a can.
Yeah.
Made it look like a slinky, and then the bottom piece went across, and then I put a little bend on the top and hooked it on the mic stand. I still use it to this day.
Mike and I's conversation travels all over the place as we explore Mike Rauchut, the person. The Drywall Podcast was brought to you today by Fresco Harmony. Fresco Harmony making walls better since 2004. If you'd like information about the Drywall Podcast, Fresco Harmony, or anything, you can contact me directly at info@frescoharmony.com. But for now, Mike Rauchut, inventor of the yellow jacket, on the 25th podcast on the Drywall Podcast.
Yo, Nick.
There you are. Welcome to the podcast, Rauchut. I always say Rauch. Even Siri knows that it's Rauch on my end. But Rauchut, what is that? Is that German?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, we got some German English there.
I like it. You're wandering around here. You got the phone.
Yeah, I got it on the phone.
Nobody can
Thanks
keep
to my daughter.
Nobody can keep Mike down. Is your daughter there?
She's around.
She's around. And what's her name?
Nicole.
Shout out to Nicole for helping Mike get dialed in with the Drywall Podcast this morning.
We're just hanging out here in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, Mike. I've got a laundry list of things here. How old are you, if you don't mind?
I'll be 66.
All right. So we have a elder.
November 29th.
November 29th?
Yeah.
Coming up. 66 years young. Happy birthday soon. I've got a laundry list of things here. Working bee, 3 kids. I got the virals, Silver Mountain. Just a second.
Varials.
The Varials. Blue Heart Records. I've got Retired Carpenters Union. I've got Framer. I've got Bridge Work, Metal Studs, Drywall, Patents.
A lot of other in-betweens there, too.
Yeah, and all things.
A little bit electrical, plumbing.
That's pretty cool. But would you say that drywall is your main gig? No,
not at all.
Not at all.
Woodworker,
Woodworking.
Concrete guy.
Well, drummer. Okay. Let's back up a little bit.
And we can back up there. That was that was since day one.
Since day one, you've always had drumming in your blood.
Drumming has always been around. My dad played.
Yeah.
And I started lessons in 4th grade, and been hitting it ever since.
Beautiful. You're the second, I would say, more accomplished musician on the podcast. Other than myself, I'm definitely not accomplished, but that's a vague term, but I do play. You've seen some of my stuff on social, but say that again.
Sunday sessions.
Yeah, I haven't done one in a while. I don't know why. They're really hard for me. And maybe it's just my repertoire. I've ran out of music. I don't know. But then, we can always learn songs, right?
Let's
talk. The other musician was
who's that?
Masterpiece Finishers, not theaters. Masterpiece Finishers. He's up in Virginia.
Okay.
He's a
Okay.
mandolin and guitarist, and a really good singer and songwriter.
Cool.
I'll share some of his stuff
Many
with you.
good players out there, you know.
What's that?
There's so many good players out there.
Yeah. Music would be such a hard route. You know, if you really wanted to be serious, if you wanted to make money at it, we were talking about that a little bit, just a tough route to go.
Yeah, you got to have that one-hit wonder.
Something. You got to have something.
And a lot of pull nowadays.
Yeah, you got to be savvy with the social media. You got to get it out there, and it's got to be good. You're right. It has to be a very good, at least one song that's good, man. But
out on the road. They probably just passed your state a little while ago.
yeah. So your son is the drummer with Varials.
Yes.
Okay. And he's a professional musician. The Varials are how long have they been together?
I'd say about 10 years, 12 years. One guitar player and my son, they went to kindergarten together, you know what I mean? So
That's so cool. You were I guess you've drummed quite a bit, and you still drum in bands and different bands for shows and things like that still, correct?
yeah, I'm working with Mike Goulden, Rolling and Tumbling. It's a blues, rock, country, soul, funk, all in one package.
So cool. So cool.
A lot of good old cover tunes, Memphis Stax records,
Love it.
Motown and Detroit.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of originals there.
Good.
Which is really nice. Mike just finished another album up this past year, and working on another one, and I got in on the tail end of that, so I didn't get on any of the recordings, but I still go out and play the songs. There's a couple drummers in this ring of people. There's like 20 people.
Yeah.
Different players that,
Oh, funny.
We all join in together here and there and everywhere. Mike works a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't want to work that much, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This weekend I got a double header. I had to cancel a show last week because my back went out on me.
That's a lot. So you play pretty regularly.
Yeah, I'm doing like 2 to 4 to 5 a month,
Okay.
So I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing it though, dude.
Yeah, I'm jealous, man. I never played out like that. I always wanted to.
It's not easy anymore. The old muscles are starting to not like it as much.
Yeah. So let's talk about I could talk about music forever, but let's talk about your background with drywall. You've done a bunch of different things. Let's give a little bit of history about your drywall. How are you? Are you did you work in drywall for several years? Do you do just drywall jobs? How does that work?
Well, I started out in housing, framed a lot of houses.
Okay.
And I went to bridge work, did 15 years of that, heavy form work. Then I finally went inside. A buddy of mine was a foreman, and he said, yo, you want to come to the mall and help us work in the mall? So then I started hanging more rock, did a lot of learn metal studs. And I was always more of a framer than a rocker, but I still had to rock. I still had to put it up at different times,
Yeah.
And, I started tech school, VOTEC, in 1972.
Okay.
Been in the union 44 years and tacking another 8 on before that. So I've been, through the years, you learn to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Or should I say a lot of everything?
A lot of everything. And that's a carpenter's union, correct?
Yes. I've been retired for 11 years. Just doing yellow jackets. But
Don't jump the
Yeah, the
gun.
union
Don't
was good.
jump the gun, Mike. We're gonna get to the Yellow Jackets, buddy. I want to. We got to have a little build up here first. So you're in the union.
Union is very good for us. People that
Yeah,
you know don't want to be responsible for running their own work, stuff like that. I mean, I look at it this way. Okay, everybody gets to pick their own race car when they go to the racetrack. If a guy wants to join the union, that's great. I mean, it's good,
yeah,
benefits, and you know, it's just all around good. It treated me right, but the guys that complain about this or that or the other thing, it's like this: you picked your race car, you took it to the track, you drive it.
yeah, yeah.
That's your choice,
And also, you can have the engine tuned up anytime if you want.
Yeah, the union was very good to me. Still
Good.
is. I got 44 years in.
Right. Hey, did you know that I started out in the union?
I think I did see that one time. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was an
Heard
apprentice
that.
in the drywall union. And you've
Yeah.
have you listened to a couple of podcasts?
Yeah, I caught a couple spots here and there of it. I didn't watch all of them all the way through, but
Sure, sure. Who did you catch? Who did you happen to catch?
a little bit of David Lee and
Oh yeah.
John McLaughlin, I guess, is it? Robert.
Robert. Oh yeah, yeah. It's characters. You like the characters. So in these fields, in these different fields of work that you've done, let's just say you've done your fair share of mixing various materials.
Yeah, I mean, through the years, you're always coming across something, whether it be patching a piece of cement or, doing drywall or
Mastic.
mixing structo light,
Yeah.
which has really got me into the something to hold the bucket was 50 bags of structo light,
What was the project you were doing with the Structolite?
Infilling door frames for fireproofing in the stairwells.
Okay. And so you were mixing Structolite and the bucket was it was spinning out of control. You had a mixing area, I assume.
This was before you ever heard of any paddles that stop the spin in the bucket, like say USG or the L5.
They always had just that design, that rectangular, maybe a twist.
Yeah, square. Some guys, it was a bow tie.
Nobody gave a shit about like what their mixer looked like. It was like it's a mud mixer. This is a mixer for mud. This is a mixer for paint. This is a mixer for tile. Right.
Right. Well, there was nothing like the paddles that eliminate the spin when I started the Yellow Jacket.
Right.
It was just I was working and sold one to a company that was on the job, the tapers, and a couple of weeks later, the foreman comes up with this paddle. So what do you got, Jim? He's there. It's a new paddle. It's supposed to stop the spin. I said, what? This is the idea working on the Yellow Jacket, right? So after he used it for a bit, he said he didn't really like it much because it didn't get down to the bottom, the corners of the bucket, whatever.
Well, let's back up before the invention of these better paddles. Let's back up. You were on the job. You're mixing 50 bags of Structolite. You're doing something, infilling doors, and what is occurring that caused you? I mean, I want the lightning bolt, buddy. I want you're standing there, that bucket's spinning out of control. The feet aren't holding it anymore, and you're like, I need something.
I must have worked on that project for like a week and a half straight. I mean, it was like a 16-story college building. And by the time it was over, man, my shins were killing me.
Because you're going through a lot of structolite, correct?
Yes. My shins were aching, and I had slop all over me.
Right.
You know, the yellow jacket, you step back away from the mix, it's
Yeah.
wash friendly.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's what I like about the yellow jacket. And if you don't know, if you're a listening audience, the yellow jacket is a platform with a metal frame that disallows the bucket from spinning. But I ordered how long ago did I order a yellow jacket from you?
Yeah, it's probably at least 2 years.
Maybe 4.
Was it? I don't know. 2 or 4.
Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to look.
But you got one of the second ones off of let's say the Facebook thing, you know what I mean?
I
And
just
I
saw
would give a shout out to all the creators of the groups for putting up with me this long, and all the people that have them.
Yeah, for sure.
Pictures and testimonials. I want to thank them all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
well, even further, like anyone that supports people doing cool shit in your industry, like shout out, because we need support. One thing that the Drywall Podcast does is it shines a spotlight on people just like you and me that are trying to do cool shit in an industry that's very hard, and we get a lot of pushback. But there's a lot of people that support us, and that's just so cool.
It's always like 80-20,
Yeah.
80 good, 20.
Yeah.
20 bad.
The 80-20 rule, yep.
I mean, some guys are brutal, and it's just a tool.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a freaking tool, and it's it's like somebody just tried to, beat up their kids or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like giving you shit.
It's like, hey man, just scroll on. You don't like the tool, that's fine. Just move on. I'll sell it to somebody that's actually interested. So what I was gonna say though, what I like about the tool, and this is gonna go back to your invention, is those little brackets. There's a bracket, like a little piece of metal that sticks up on either side of the metal frame that goes right into a bucket. So the handle has a little outcropping of plastic. Those little metal parts go right into that bucket outcropping, and that's what holds the bucket high up from spinning. And I thought that was I didn't even know that was on there until you told me.
Anything I tried down to hold the bottom, it just didn't work as good. So I figured, okay, we'll shoot to head for the top of the bucket, and that way, your drill doesn't fall over and all that,
Oh, right. It holds your, around that top. I mean, you held it up there.
Yeah, it's just down to the plywood, or you can screw it right down to the subfloor.
Right.
If you're in a rough floor, just screw it down.
Yeah. Or my favorite was the casters.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was Abe. Thank you, Abe, if you're watching.
Abe put casters on his base.
Yeah. Yeah, and really made it something.
Yeah.
A little more touch to everything.
Have you had
mentioned it at the very beginning, I remember that.
Yeah. Have you had anybody use casters other than Abe?
Not that I know of, no.
Because it just makes sense to me. The double screen, you got your pump, you got your extra bucket of mud, and you're just rolling that thing from room to room on a single floor. You're cruising around with your pump and your box and just blowing it out.
Right. They're very strong. I mean, they're super strong. You got yours.
Mm-hmm.
You can throw them around in the back of your truck, slam things against them. They just They're indestructible. I have a limited lifetime warranty on them.
Okay. What does
Right.
what does that mean?
It means if it breaks, I replace it.
Beautiful.
It doesn't cover crushed or bends, but you'd have to run it over with your truck or something to really bend this thing, because when you put a radius on something, it just strengthens, triples the
Yeah.
strength.
You had the idea. Now, when somebody has an idea, a lot of times they're like, "Oh, I have this really great idea for a bucket holder, so it doesn't spin." A lot of times, ideas don't make it past the drawing board, buddy. You've sold a bunch of these, and how does one take an idea? Did you get a patent first, or did you go and try to make one?
Well, it took 3 years to get the patent, so it took sold some, maybe one or two at first, and then went to the patent attorney and did the patent searches. And so I went on patent pending for provisional patent pending for a year. And that means, you can pay half the money. And then if you decide to bail out, you don't pay the rest of the money.
Okay.
Instead of putting it all up front. Provisional patent pending that's what that is.
Okay.
Then I paid the other half of it, went full patent pending, and it was almost 4 years to get the patent.
Okay.
And during that period, I was making them in my backyard. I mean, I welded 60 of these things up. Sometimes it was standing on 3 inches of ice because they don't have an enclosed shop.
Okay.
It's fireproof, or I would burn it down.
Yeah.
Or I'd be standing with a big giant umbrella, working in 90-degree heat, welding them together in my backyard. It came out of a little backyard, man. This wasn't something that was drawn on some draftsman's table in tape deck or something like that. Speaking of tape deck, I did go down to Georgia. They called me in for a presentation. They liked it, and they didn't pass it. So I'm still here.
Yeah.
But when I sent them the information in the video, they called me right away and said, "Come on down."
Okay.
But the problem is, they say, guys don't want to spend no more than $40 or something like that. Well, you can spend $40 on something like that. It's going to last you maybe a year or two, because it's made out of plastic.
Yeah.
These are triple the money, but they last forever.
Well, I sent you that one bucket. We messaged a little bit. You saw that one that it folds out and then a bucket sits in it. It looks like it's padding or something that holds the bucket in place. It doesn't have the little tabs at the top. It's a bottom bucket holder.
The thing that folds up.
Like plastic.
Yeah.
Another
company, Tri-Voice, had that ring donut in Lowe's, and I went back to look at it again, and they discontinued them. And I called the manufacturer, the guy who made them, invented them.
Yeah.
And they just weren't selling. You're not getting backing away from it. If you let go of it with your feet, the bucket's still going to fall over if you try and rest your drill. I mean, the yellow jacket's a perfect holster for nesting your drill. Tighten that chuck up. Don't wear your chuck out. Don't wear your shaft out from that. It's just different advantages to it.
Yeah. So what Mike's talking about is that there's, when you're at your mixing area, a lot of drywall guys know, like, you constantly have to take your drill on and off of the paddle. It wears out your paddle, and it also wears out your chuck. And a lot of guys will spin that drill down onto their chuck or onto the paddle, which I hate. I always do it by hand, to save the end of my paddle and also my chuck. But the beautiful thing about the yellow jacket is that you don't have to really take your mixer off of your drill every single time. That saves time, and it also saves wear and tear on your drill.
So with the double yellow jacket, you got 2 buckets, a water bucket, and whatever you're mixing, and you just rest it in there and you go.
Yeah, you can go back and forth with your paddle and the drill setup.
Yeah, it's right there. It does save time. Also, if you're taking the lids off of buckets, you know how some lids can be a real problem. That yellow jacket just holds that bucket real nice and tight.
I don't think the lid conversation has really been talked about enough. Those lids are a bitch to get off, and I know the East Coast, it's all buckets. I mean, over where I'm at, we use boxes of mud, and a lot of places use boxes of mud. I know the East Coast uses buckets. Those buckets are a bitch to get open. They really are. I mean, I'm sure if you use buckets every day, you have methods for that. But this holds your bucket in place so you can rip those bucket lids off, no problem.
Right.
Right.
A lot of guys say, well, I don't have room in my truck. Well, you put buckets of tools or materials in the yellow jacket, and it takes up 0 space,
Just for instance, like if you have materials in the back of the truck, it'll hold that bucket in place, and it doesn't take up any more space than the amount of space that the bucket isn't going to take up anyways, because you put your bucket in the yellow jacket, put it in your truck, your bucket's not sliding or moving around in your truck. I thought that was a cool aspect of it as well. So you made the 60 out of the gate. You made the product yourself. Did you paint them?
Yeah, I had to prime them and paint them. I used to hang them on the clothesline. Paint dried pretty quick, but now they're powder coated.
They're nice.
CNC with CNC machine.
They're very pro, as you saw from the little demonstration. So you transferred at some point from making them to yourself to having somebody else make them.
Yeah. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't keep up with it. It was labor intense.
Yeah.
And here's the thing too. I mean, just to weld one up and get it cleaned and painted, and then do the platforms. Rocking and rolling, I was doing 3.5 hours to 4 hours on one unit.
Okay.
And I was still trying to get $90 for the platform and the cage, and I was getting beat up. It's like, wait a second, I know there's work involved in this.
Yeah.
Figure working at home and just trying to keep it going and rolling. I had to do what I had to do.
Why didn't you quit?
Well, 1, I got the patent.
Yeah.
And 2, it gives me something to do.
Yeah.
Besides playing drums and working on my house all the time.
Yeah. Let me tell you this, and I don't know if you experience this. We're both innovative tool manufacturers, if you will. I mean, mine's a formulated color pack and sealer, but it's still selling a product. I don't know if this happens with you, and I didn't ask these questions to Corey with the Tech Dry tool or the platformer. But when you sell that product, when you sell one of those, I mean, that feeling is just phenomenal. When somebody like buys a product that you made, you put your blood, sweat, and tears into, it's a good feeling.
Yes, especially when they come back and say how much they like it again, once they get to try it out.
Yep.
Demo it. But
are you looking for maybe a strategic partner to make them, help market? What's your sort of what's your direction with that?
Well, right now I'm in the process of really turning it over to my kids.
Okay.
You know what I mean? 4 years I'll be 70. How long do I want to keep? I want to be on the beach somewhere. How long can I keep doing, dealing with it.
Yeah.
I'd rather be on the beach with the boat or something.
So your kids, your daughter in particular, has some marketing knowledge, or
Yeah,
she's just savvy on social media. She's taken the Yellow Jacket recently, gotten it onto Instagram, I know, and TikTok. What is the Instagram uh page? What's that called? Is it like at the Yellow Jacket or
that one she's got set up Yellow Jacket Pro.
Yellow Jacket Pro? So
Yeah.
you can find some cool pictures there. And then she recently got you onto the TikTok. Have you messed around at all with TikTok?
That's all her too.
That's all her.
Yeah.
Have you gone onto TikTok?
I go on it. Just starting to figure it out.
Yeah,
You know,
it's weird.
I'm more of a worker. I'm not an office guy, to be honest with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'd rather be getting dirty.
I know what you mean.
But,
The reason
yeah.
I'm asking about the TikTok is because from what I've seen, the Yellow Jacket has like conjured a lot of energy on TikTok that I haven't seen it conjure on Facebook or uh, Instagram. Like you're getting a lot of hits from Instagram too. So I mean, what she's doing is working.
Yes. Yeah, there was like 120,000 views in like 7 days.
That's a lot of eyeballs. And are you making sales from that?
Some inquiries.
You have such
But
good.
the prices are hammering me right now. Everybody knows the price of materials going up, stuff like that. The steel went up. It's guys are trying to justify spending that kind of money for something like that.
Yeah.
But I have sold a few since the TikTok, which is only a few weeks old. You keep them busy with all your stuff?
Yeah, the podcast is doing really well. I'm meeting some cool dudes. We have Columbia Tools, Aaron and Elliot with Columbia Tools. The first part of a two-part interview is going to be tomorrow on the Drywall Podcast.
Uh-huh.
Those guys are out of Vancouver, BC, or British Columbia. Sorry. Really,
Right.
really cool guys. We talk about the history of Ames, the automatic tools,
Right.
and
Right.
how their
Same thing.
their dad, well, not because Ames was the first, and
Yeah.
they had license on those tools, but then they they created Tape Tech, and so we talk about all that, and we talk about how their dad started tooling these tools and created Columbia Tools.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty interesting, I mean, shit's interesting to me. I don't know.
Yeah. There's always something new coming out.
Yeah. Your story's
Back
interesting to me, Mike.
before before there was cordless tools or nail guns.
Yeah.
I remember I think it was like 1979, 80, when I saw the first nail gun come out.
Yeah.
No, all chucks had keys on them. I said to my uncle once, couldn't they make a chuck that doesn't need a key? And he says, you know what? They're starting to come around with something like that because he was a knitting machinist.
Ah.
Next thing you know, there was, keyless chucks.
Okay.
But missed that boat.
Yeah, but at least you got the boat in your shop.
Yeah, right.
You got that boat. That boat's probably more fun. Anyways. Yeah. So what does the future hold for the Yellow Jacket besides Nicole taking over and being like, dude, Dad, let me just do this. I'm gonna sell this shit. What do you see? What's your ideal scenario for the Yellow Jacket?
Yeah, I'd like to see somebody pick it up. You know what I mean? some tool companies. Anybody out there, let me know. If you don't want to deal with buckets falling over and all the benefits that it does have, I mean, using your feet to me is crazy.
Yeah.
When when you really don't have to.
Yeah.
But there's other things out there, other ways you can hold the buckets.
And I still see people, they say put your foot on the top of the bucket. And let me just give a shout out to all drywallers worldwide. When I learned, I put my foot on the top of a bucket one time in the union, and those journeymen were like, "What the hell are you doing, dude? Get your foot off of the top of that bucket." And if you don't know, you don't put your foot on the top of the bucket because you get shit in your mud when you put your foot on the top of the bucket. And all it took was once for me, and I stopped doing that, and it makes perfect sense.
Right.
You kick mud into your mud.
1 foot anyway, you know what I mean? Save your feet for dancing and,
Yeah. And playing drums, playing the kick drum.
Strapping them around a bucket,
Yep.
Now, when I came up with it, man, I was tired of a few scenarios I got myself into mixing, and it was just like, it's got to be a way to stop this bucket,
Yeah.
And it all led to that. So
it's a really smart design. It's 100% original. And, kudos to you, Mike, because just coming up with a new idea is challenging, but taking it from your brain to actual manufacturing and then selling a few of them, that is a really hard thing to do, and you've sold more than a few. You sold a bunch to an epoxy company, right?
Yes. Epoxy Depot has a few left in stock, and there's Ashley's Concrete down in Louisiana products. They pick 25 off.
Yeah.
We're a little over 260 to date, but
yeah,
been doing it for a long time, but didn't really go full force on any kind of marketing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
yeah, but if you were in 500, if you were in 1,000 stores, you'd be cranking them.
I don't make much off of them. I make $25 on a cage.
Right.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I make about $30 off the platform. Everything else is material.
Yeah.
It's and then you add the shipping on top of that. That's why I give the option to build your own platform if you want to. You can save a little bit in the shipping, and it is only a 1/2-inch piece of plywood. You
know what you could do? I just thought of this just now on the podcast, is you could buy one of those cheap ass furniture movers from Harbor Freight and screw it right to that. It's already got the casters.
Yeah, you gotta have locks on them though. See,
that's true.
I can imagine that, they get clogged up. You got the brakes on them and stuff like that. You got to clean them good.
Well, you could get one of those cheap. You could get a cheap Harbor Freight furniture mover, and then you could get different casters. They sell casters at Home Depot or whatever. But that would work. That that platform would work.
Oh yeah, the last time I tried figuring out a price for a guy for with wheels, it was like out of the ballpark. The wheels are expensive.
Yeah.
To get good wheels that are going to last, and they got to be big enough to roll over cords and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
these screens. See these screens behind me.
Right.
I use those. They sell individual casters for those. And they're badass, and it's about $30 a set.
Double unit weighs 15 pounds. It's no big deal to pick it up and carry it. Just carry it by the bottom ring, and you're good to go. I mean, it's not a big deal. A lot of guys say, "It's something else I got to carry out of my truck." Well, if it takes you 5 minutes to carry a tool in and it helps you for 8 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we like them. We like them when we're mixing up lots of color. Jack uses it. We've had it for 4 years or whatever. It's pretty beat up. I
Yeah,
think he uses it at his house. Yeah, he was using the shit out of it. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's made to get beat up and kicked around. And I mean, you're gonna get them dirty. You're gonna scratch them. But it's just 1/8 inch solid steel, man. You know, like I said, when you put something on a radius like that, you triple the strength of it. You know what I mean? It's just phenomenally strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys just say, "Oh, I'll have that destroyed in a month." Well, like I still got the first one I made that spun probably 300 buckets.
Yeah.
Still there, you know?
Yeah, and all of the tool manufacturers that I've had on the tools that they've made are really durable, very strong, very cool.
Right.
Here something I ask all of my interviewees that I have on the show: if there was a pearl of wisdom that you could bestow upon the construction drywall community nationally and globally, what would you tell them, Mike?
Be patient, be kind. What goes around comes around.
The golden rule.
Yeah. You know, it's all about, coming home safe to your families, feeding your family, come home to your kids. What else can I say? Everybody's got to eat one way or another.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, how you chose your road is your choice,
I like the race car analogy.
Stay safe, don't get anybody else hurt by making stupid moves,
Yeah. Yeah.
Lost some friends, lost a few friends,
How so?
accidents on a job. I don't
Stupid,
want to get into it.
stupid shit.
Yeah, stupid shit.
Yep.
Watch out for the next guy. The next guy might fall in a hole that you didn't cover up. But yeah, it's been great, Nick. I mean, I really appreciate the interview. Yeah, I still get stage fright at stuff like this.
Of course, man. No, this is different than music, buddy. This is like this is who you are.
This was a brand new room, man. I drew the blueprints. I had my buddy do the block work. Another buddy dug all the dirt out. We took 7 triaxles of dirt out of here. This is a new great room with a basement.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And then where I came from was a big garage.
Nice. Nice.
But so even the dog's happy.
The dog's happy. Look. Very cool.
Nicole's still in her office.
Oh yeah, she's like, do
Next
not.
time.
She's like, do not bring that podcast into this office. Stay in that room. Do not go back out to the garage, dude. That garage, you see, and then your Wi-Fi stops, man. Yeah. That whole interview should have been done right there.
There we go.
I was trying to get you to stay in that room. See, there's no delay. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's weird. I built this, it's 2x6 walls, insulated.
Yeah.
And when I go out the back door, I have a hard time with a lot of stuff. It's like, I don't get no reception because the walls are so thick, I guess. I don't know. You're a chemist too?
I'm an artist. I play around with a lot of different mediums. And I made wall hangings and art.
Uh-huh.
That's where Fresco Harmony came from, was art, making art. Colored joint compound.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you sell a lot of it or just for
I used
yourself?
to. I ran a gallery for a year and a half, and I showed other people's art. I was making art on sheetrock, and then I was framing it with metal framing. But I probably made over 400 pieces of art,
Cool.
like, and then I would do art shows and I'd sell it. But then the more I got popular with doing walls, that took over my time.
Right.
So I still make all my money on colored mud, doing colored mud walls. I get a premium, less work, more profit. And then that enables me to manufacture Fresco Harmony.
Right.
But
Cool.
now the Fresco Harmony, the color packs are funding themselves. I'm selling enough that it's funding itself.
Nice.
I'm not a millionaire yet, but whatever, one day at a
Right.
time.
Right.
I've only
Right.
been
Right.
I've only been doing it like 10 years. The
It
product
takes time.
takes time. You
Yeah.
you weren't kidding when you said be patient. Like I've been doing colored joint compound walls for over 20 years, and I'm 46. I started young
Right.
in my 20s, like fucking around with colored mud.
Right.
There was no colored mud system, Mike, for finishing walls with colored mud.
You're a creator.
That's what I was doing 20 years ago. And then I was like, how can I share this? How can I share this with other drywallers? And that's where the color pack, I was like, oh, I could share the color formula. I sell you a color pack, you dump it in the mud, go do your own fucking Fresco Harmony,
Right.
you know?
Cool.
And that idea was about 10 years ago. But then I needed sealer. I needed the sealer too. And so another company makes a sealer here in the United States, and I private label. I get 55-gallon drums of clear acrylic, and then I package it
Right.
and I sell the sealer.
It just made me think of this thing that I created back in the early 90s. It's the beverage holder for a microphone stand. You know how it coils up?
Yeah.
The coil beverage holders. A buddy of mine owns a rivet shop, and I got some stainless steel coil wire, like, I don't know, heavy 1/8 thick. And I bent it around a can.
Yeah.
Made it look like a slinky, and then the bottom piece went across, and then I put a little bend on the top and hooked it on the mic stand. I still use it to this day.
Why don't you take that idea to a Guitar Center or something?
Haven't you seen them? You don't have them that way?
Here's how lame I am with music. I don't even have a mic. I have this mic, but I don't have a mic set. I have 2 amps, but I don't have a mic in my house.
Get yourself a 58.
I need a mic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But anyway,
especially for Sunday sessions.
yeah.
Nice.
The middle of February here is about 15, and then we went down there, it was 85. We rented
Beautiful.
a pontoon boat and drove out at 2 different inlets in the Gulf of Mexico. Crystal blue water.
Mm-hmm.
It was sweet. It was sweet.
Yep. Well, hey, buddy. Thank you very much for your time today. It's cool, right? We get to look at each other and have a conversation. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's known you for 4 years, seen a lot of your work going on. It's wild how you meet people.
Yeah.
Through the internet.
It's different though.
It's a cool thing.
it's different being able to like see somebody and have a conversation, talk to you a little bit about your background, and it's cool. You get to know somebody.
A lot of guys, like I said, they'll piss and moan about this and that. As far as, the guys are a bunch of bums, blah, 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 blah. Well, if you're not doing your job and you're not producing, okay, could be 400, 500, 600 guys down the Union Hall that are willing to take your place. So you're down the road, they got no problem getting somebody else, you know what I mean? It's like,
it's true.
You gotta produce.
That's true.
It would work, Call it a hall.
Yep.
But it's been a great experience. I wouldn't have changed nothing, But like I say, if young guys, if you're not sure where you want to go and you don't want to be your own boss, it's a very good spot to be in.
Yeah, I like it. That's good advice. All right, Mike. Well, we're going to sign off. I appreciate your time today. You can find Mike on, say your last name again, because I have a hard time with that one.
Rauchut.
Rauchut. Rauchut. Rauchut. And he's on Facebook. Mike Rauchut is his personal page. And then there's also the Yellow Jacket page on Facebook. There's a Yellow Jacket Pro page on Instagram, and now he is also on TikTok. Do you do YouTube?
No.
Okay. And if you want to purchase or have questions about the Yellow Jacket for Mike, are you cool with them calling you?
Sure.
What's your phone number?
896-6291.
215-896 6291. And what's your email?
Rauchutpro@msn.com.
Rauchutpro@msn.com. And then you have a website?
Not yet. No, Nicole's working on that.
Okay, stay tuned for the website coming out. Mike, we appreciate your time today, sir. I will get some more information from you, but for now, thanks a lot, man. We'll see you down the road.
Yeah, you have a good day, buddy.
You too, Mike.
All
appreciate it, man. Good talking to you.
Right. Good talk.
Special thanks to Mike Rauchut for being on the Drywall Podcast today. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your knowledge, and I'm certainly grateful for you being here with us. You can catch the Drywall Podcast every Friday on your favorite platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and also Podbean. The Drywall Podcast was brought to you exclusively today by Fresco Harmony. Fresco Harmony, making walls better since 2004. As always, if you'd like to ask me a question, have questions about the podcast, have questions about Fresco Harmony or anything, you can contact me at info@frescoharmony.com. I appreciate you listening to the Drywall Podcast today. And remember, keep drywalling.